Hey y'all, my name is Hannah, and today I'm going to be reacting to spring 2023 fashion trends. I think trends in aesthetics, in fashion, and in beauty are really interesting. I think that some trends are actually kind of designed and launched to lead us down that path of buying, always something more, always chasing the best, the most perfect, the edgiest thing. And that is fruitless. That will get you nowhere but bankruptcy and unhappiness, actually. We do it because we think it's going to make us happy. It just makes you unhappy. But some trends bust onto the screen feeling like it's what we've all been waiting for and are things, and this is critical for me, things that you can access without necessarily having to run right out and buy something new. So in the video, I'm going to be breaking these trends down, basically separating them into these two categories the way I see it. And if you're new to my channel and you find yourself enjoying this, I hope that you will decide to subscribe. Now let's go ahead and get into the meat of this video. So I'm drawing from this late February Vogue article. These are the spring 2023 trends Vogue editors are wearing now. The first trend is perfectly imperfect, which I gather from the article is talking primarily about frayed and raw hems on garments. So an unfinished hem, a slit that looks like it was created by a tear in the fabric, and that sort of raw-edged, thread dangling, finished hem. I'm seeing also like a dip-dyed hem. There's an organic quality, a half-finished quality. It's a very materials-forward trend. Now, I was surprised to see this, and I have a long history with this kind of thing. I feel like for a lot of my 20s, this was my aesthetic. Like, I was obsessed with a raw hem. And when I got into making my own clothes, I was always messing with this kind of thing. Just like tearing the edge, messing with the edge of the fabric to make it even more torn up, figuring out what I had to do to a garment to get the unfinished hem, the rawness of the finishing to look clearly intentional instead of look like an accident. I think I love it because I love anything that balances structure and boundaries with an organic quality. Like, it has the shape of a dress, that's where the structure is, but then it's like coming unraveled at the bottom, and that's sort of the organic quality. I've always been a big fan of that kind of juxtaposition. But I also love the unpreciousness kind of this kind of finishing on a garment. And I like that it's so materials forward. It kind of puts the fabric itself and the threads that it's made of right in your face instead of sort of tucking and ironing and sewing it all away. So part of me is a little bit like on this because I feel like I went through it. I went through a phase where this was all I wanted, kind of a long phase. And it's been a long time since then, and I don't have stuff like this in my wardrobe anymore. But fundamentally, I love it. And it's for all of those reasons that I cited, but also because it's something that's so easy to DIY. Like, the Prada skirt that is being spotlit in this article is $2,500. The big thing about it is that the dye is irregular and the slit up the side has like a torn and frayed edge. Because of the irregularity, this is the kind of thing that it's so easy to make your own version of. You can get a vintage silk slip or a silk skirt at a thrift shop, dip it in some dye, and, rip off the hem, and you'll have your own version of this. And it's kind of that thing, like, did it cost $2,500 at Prada, or did she make it herself over the weekend? I'm really here for that and feeling a little inspired. So I'm going to give this trend the green light. I feel like it's on our side. It's on the side of good. Trend number 2, blazers become cinched. This, to me, is the complete opposite of the trend that we just discussed. The trend we just discussed is fluid, organic, open-ended, kind of leaves room for everyone to make their own version. This right here is a classic money-draining revolving door out to get you trend. Blazers, I feel like, are never not trendy, and blazers have been actively and aggressively trending, like literally on these lists for a long time. But it's not about the fact that blazers are on here. It's about the fact that it's like a really specific way to tailor a blazer that's showing up. So a blazer is an investment, right? A nice one. I mean, that's the kind of thing that it's a hefty, significant piece of clothing. And especially if you're in this world and you're like getting a designer one, I mean, that's not the same as t-shirt or even a pair of jeans. And for the past several years, I feel I haven't done it, but I feel like we have been pursuing the perfect, slouchy, oversized blazer. It's been like the boyfriend blazer, you know? Boxy cut, long, oversized, the exact opposite of a cinched blazer, except that they're both blazers. So I feel like what this trend is saying is that really lovely, really potentially expensive investment piece that you finally decided to spring for just 6 months ago in the end of season sales, that beautiful slouchy oversized Anina Bing blazer that you finally got your hands on after 2 years of waiting. It's out of style now because it's not cinched waist. Now cinched waist blazers are in, and you can't wear that slouchy blazer anymore because it will look passe, it'll look last season. If you have to go out, get another one, and it has to be this exact one. But we all know that that door is going to revolve, and in some number of months or years, the cinched waist blazer is going to be so spring of 2023, and it's going to be some other slightly different style or cut of blazer that is the one that is so now and the one that's on the nose. I hate this kind of thing. I hate a trend that encourages people to go out and buy a very slightly different version or slightly different manifestation of what should be a core staple wardrobe item that they maybe already have, especially if it's something that really by rights should be an investment piece, because there's a big difference between a shoddily made blazer and a really beautifully made blazer. If I ever do acquire a blazer, I hope that it'll be like a really, really beautifully made one, maybe something that I buy secondhand or in an end of season sale. And I don't want to turn around then and be told that a slightly different cut of blazer is now in style. This is the kind of trend that to me is evocative of like the hemlines rising and falling by a couple of inches every 6 months, like that sort of eye-rolly sarcastic way of talking about the ridiculousness of needing to be on the very, very cutting edge, having your finger on the very pulse of what's popular in fashion and not being okay with appearing in anything else. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got money for that. I'm against it. Okay, trend number 3, Moto-Inspired. This is, again, the exact opposite. It's vague, right? So Moto-Inspired, there's a leather jacket with a Moto-Inspired zipper. There's a sort of edgy but flowy leather skirt. I feel like that's pushing it a little for Moto-Inspired. There's a leather bag that has big silver buckles on it. There's some Moto boots. There's a good chance that you already have something in your closet that hits on this trend from one angle or another. It's not forcing you to run out and buy something really specific. It's not forcing you to reject stuff that you already have. And it never goes out of style, I feel. I feel like these Moto-inspired details, there's always a place for them. They're always cool, you know? You can always work them into an outfit without it feeling out of season or off trend. And so when something like this comes around and is sort of being extra celebrated, maybe on the runways or in the shops, it feels just a little bit more like an opportunity, a revisiting, like an indulging in an aesthetic that we all sort of know and love. It feels open-ended and generous rather than constricted and exclusionary like the cinched waist blazer thing. So I'm here for it. Next trend, bold color bottoms. So brightly colored pants is what they're showing, like bright red pants, bright pink, bright orange, bright blue. You know, I'm not that into the brights. Most of my wardrobe isn't brights, but there's nothing I love more than a monochromatic outfit, like head to toe cherry red. And I have this bright blue sweater that I recently acquired. And the one thing about it is that I don't have a bright blue skirt or pants to use to make it a fully monochromatic outfit from top to bottom. And I've sort of been thinking about keeping an eye out for one, like in the thrift shops and the consignment shops, a pair of cobalt blue pants, basically. So it's really interesting to see this cropping up because literally just a couple of days ago, I was kind of scheming, making this plan, thinking, I think I might want some cobalt blue pants. I'm sort of just going to keep an eye out for them, even though this isn't usually the kind of thing that really, really excites me these days. So it's one of those sort of woo-woo moments that happens with trends. I think it's like, where do they come from? They come from everywhere. They come from all of our brains. I feel like I sort of dreamed it into existence. And so for that reason, and also for the reason of just what I automatically imagine when I see these bubblegum pink pants is I see them paired with a bubblegum pink ruffled button-down blouse, just like the head-to-toe thing, the full effect. It's harder to find the bottom half in that situation. Like if you're trying to complete a look, a monochromatic bright look, it's harder to find the pants. So I'm happy to see it trend trending for that just aesthetic reason, like my own personal feeling about what might be fun to do. But I also don't necessarily object to this at large because I feel like, again, it's a broad enough trend that it's not going to go out of style and be noticeably last year. So if you buy a pair of cherry red pants, even if nobody's talking about bright pants next spring, you can find a way to work them in. They're going to be great. If you love them, if they work with your style, if they work with your wardrobe, they're going to be great forever. And again, it might already be something that you have. And now you can pull out those bright red pants knowing that it's aggressively on trend. Next up, bright white footwear. Why? Why white footwear? The least practical color for a shoe. Very appealing. I'll hand them all that. I understand the appeal of like a white driving moccasin or a white sneaker. I mean, I've been known to have a white sneaker or two in the past. And yes, there's nothing like that crisp, bright white color for a shoe. So I'm not against this necessarily on aesthetic grounds. I think from time to time, a white shoe can be really special. And if you choose wisely, the material, the occasion for which you're buying the shoe, like the way in which you might wear it, how dirty it's likely to get, how easy it's going to be to clean, how much you'll care if it gets dirty. If you choose wisely, then yes, a white shoe can be special. And I don't think all white shoes are ugly. I just feel like when it's here on this list, like white footwear is trending, it takes on a little bit of another character. It makes it feel like something you can only afford. If you have a huge shoe collection and you're able to just save your white shoes only for the days when it hasn't rained in a couple of days and there's no mud, or you're definitely taking a taxi from place to place, or you're, I don't know, on a cruise. That's how I feel about this trend. It's like white footwear is trending for people who can opt to pack their bright white pumps for the cruise because they know that there's not going to be grime and mud on the cruise ship deck. So they can like walk the cruise ship deck in those bright white pumps and look on trend. For the rest of us, it's a choice, I feel, to have a white shoe. And so it feels like a pass. It feels a little laughable to be told that white shoes are trending, and it just feels like a pass. Next up, the sculptural statement earring. I love a sculptural anything, piece of clothing, piece of furniture, accessory. I love anything sculptural. Very pleased to see sculptural earrings trending. And this is just purely selfish, right? I am a huge fan of sculptural earrings specifically. I have very little other jewelry. I never really got on board much with the like delicate jewelry trend. I have a little bit of delicate gold jewelry in like my other ear holes up here, but I usually reserve my front earring holes for sculptural statement earrings. But the thing about this trend is if it's not your thing, if you don't feel comfortable in a statement earring, just skip it. I think if someone were to respond to this trend by going out and buying a bunch of sculptural earrings and just packing their jewelry box with them to be on trend, you know, it's like, oh, they're trending, so like let's get a bunch and only wear those, and you know that they're trending and so that's why you wear them. That doesn't make sense to me. That feels like a sort of hollow way to interact with a trend. If you feel the most comfortable in delicate jewelry, just stick with your delicate jewelry. Nobody will ever be like, where are her sculptural earrings, you know? But for me, this is just exciting because I feel like I won't have to hunt and peck as much for the next year or so for the kinds of things that I really love. I feel like there's going to be more of an abundance of them. Detailed denim. This article is presenting this trend as detailed denim. And what they mean is like stuff that's not jeans made out of denim. Like a denim maxi skirt with a denim belt tied around the hips, a denim vest, a denim maxi skirt with denim laces up the sides. It's like this pieced together patchwork kind of denim thing. Sometimes I just have a visceral aesthetic reaction to something, and then it's a little bit hard for me to see the forest for the trees. Like it's hard for me to back up and sort this trend into the appropriate basket according to the overarching organization of the video, because I just am looking at these garments and I'm feeling like it's a no. Like it's the kind of thing you see someone wearing, especially if you see someone who you can tell has expensive clothing. Like if you see someone with a really expensive bag, expensive jewelry, or expensive designer sunglasses, and then they're also wearing these like patchwork bell-bottom jeans, you're like, oh, you know that those jeans probably cost $820 at Net-a-Porter, but they reek of just blind trend following. That's how I feel about this whole category of thing. All of these denim, structured denim, weird things. I like jeans. I actually don't even really own that many jeans, but I appreciate jeans as jeans. Like denim jeans, I think can look really great with an outfit. I think can be a really great part of a wardrobe. And occasionally I see a denim jacket that I'm not mad at, but generally I'm not into like building other stuff out of denim. And I'm sorry I can't be more articulate about why. Because it's not necessarily the cheekiness of it. It just looks ugly. It looks ugly to me. And I think there is something, the closest I've gotten to explaining why I viscerally reject this trend is that there is something about it that speaks of blind trend following without an actual aesthetic sense behind it. And maybe that's coming from past experiences, like people I've known, times when this kind of thing has trended in the past, living through the 90s as like a preteen. I mean, maybe it's coming from like deep places in like where my aesthetic sense was formed when I was younger. If you feel like I feel about this, maybe you can explain it better. But let's finish on an upswing, the tailored look. This article is saying the tailored look is trending, citing neo-minimalism going down the runway. Runway shows which emphasize chic tailoring and crisp white shirting. You know what I'm going to say. This is a great trend because it's timeless. Many of us have shirting of some kind in our wardrobes. This trend does not exclude the oversized blazer, right? Because that's still the tailored look. Tailored pants, I love a tailored pant. And this kind of thing, if you were to acquire a piece like this because it's trending right now, if it really resonates with you and you go out and get a crisp white shirt because it's trending right now, this is the kind of thing that will never not look chic, except for all those bees out there thinking that cinched blazers are the only blazers this season. Unless you're with that crowd, these are just inevitably, I think, always going to be forever pieces. Neo-minimalist, tailored things that can be combined with other things, even if you're not into the minimalist look. A crisp white shirt can always be combined with like a brightly colored pant or a printed skirt or something. It's always going to elevate. It's always going to be beautiful. And I just love seeing something trend that, again, is open-ended enough, accessible enough, timeless enough to feel like it isn't just like going in and out of that revolving door, and also to feel like you don't necessarily need to spend a bucket load of money to get the exact specific thing. That may be one of the things that bothers me about the denim stuff too, is just a little bit specific, and it's just like maybe you have some sort of lace-up denim skirt in the back of your wardrobe and you can pull it out with gusto now that you know that it's trending again. But I feel like for a lot of people, it's the $820 jeans at Net-a-Porter, you know what I mean, to hop on that trend. Whereas with this one, it's like you could go to a thrift shop with an eye to collecting a couple of pieces that can be repurposed to build a neo-minimalist tailored wardrobe, and you can find them. So I'm a big fan of that one. Happy to see it on the list, and that is going to do it. What a roller coaster. Just on this one trends list from Vogue, we're really seeing clear standouts, really exciting trends that I actually feel inspired by just reading about them. And then a little handful of those trends designed to make you feel like what you have just isn't quite right and you must get more stuff and you must spend more money. I like doing this because I feel like it gives us a subtler grasp, a bit subtler and therefore more effective of defense mechanism against those trends that are a bit too constrained, like too stuck up. It gives us more effective defense against those than it would to just be like, trends at large are stupid. Following trends is a mindless thing to do. Trends have nothing good to offer us, because I think that aesthetic trends do have something to offer us, can have something to offer us. And there is, because of that, a lot of power in being like, oh, I really love trends that lead us down this path, and trends that lead us down that path can be damaging and we need to keep an eye out for them. So I hope that this was helpful with these specific trends, but also just gives you helpful tools in the future to be able to do that kind of analysis for yourself so that you can make decisions that are going to keep making you happy. Thank you for watching this video. Again, if you're not subscribed, I hope you will subscribe. And if you are subscribed, thank you. Thank you for liking and commenting and all of that. And don't forget to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.